Was there like I said though, have you found anyone that's that you're a fan of that you found out like listens to Polyphia that you were shocked by, or is it all just normal fans?
Probably like the first time that ever happened, which like probably stuck with me a lot more than it has like recently, just because now it's like I don't really, keep up with it as much. But the first time that really happened, that I was like very starstruck, that they were a fan of me, was Blackbear.
Really?
I didn't know that like he was a Polyphia fan until like my friend Lil Aaron, he like writes with him a lot, and they came through Dallas. Like this is like in like 2016 or 2017 when I was like very like, all my friends and shit were just listening to Blackbear like because and he came through Dallas, and one of my photographer friends was on tour with him too, and they were like, "Yo, are you coming to the show tonight?" And I was like, "Oh, I mean, I guess, yeah." And they were like, "Yeah, Blackbear wants you to come to the bus," and I was like, "Really?" And then I found out that he like fucks with Polyphia and all sorts of things, and then he like texted me saying some shit like, "We should start a band." Like he was like, I want to sing for Polyphia, but like, we'll name it something else. And I was like, oh shit. And he was like, let me like do a remix of Goat. And I was like, oh shit. And then he just never did that. And for like,
that would have been sick though. Yeah.
Then we started working on this one song, and then nothing ever happened. And I just kind of figured like, oh, like when you're that famous, like you just do whatever, like, and just, don't whatever. And then finally fucking, just last year, I guess maybe 6 months ago over the summer, we finally put out a song. So thank God.
Yeah. I mean, when you're like as famous as him, I feel like you just take on so many projects that you probably just overwhelm yourself with, and then just give all your attention to one and forget about one. Like, I feel like you just get completely lost in the sauce when you're that big.
Absolutely. Like, it's like every day, like, especially if you're doing like 2 a days or 3 a days for sessions, like you could just be in with fucking like, huge stars, and like, he writes for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
So, you could just crazy amounts of shit that you could just be doing,
That's so sick though that he's a fan. I feel, I always kind of got the vibe that he was like into a ton of different music, because even listening to his music, you hear so much like inspiration from so many random genres. So I could definitely see him.
He's very talented for sure.
What genre do you consider like Polyphia?
I was actually going to ask that question because I was listening to Polyphia the other day, and I was trying to think to myself like, how do I categorize this? Because it's almost like rapping on a guitar. Like, what do you really like?
I wouldn't call it math rock, because everything is in 4/4, or 3/4, like depending on the song, but like just mostly 4/4, and we never change it. It doesn't deviate unless like we just like beat switch into something else. But so I wouldn't call it math rock. I think that genres are normally defined by the drums, right? Like rock music, rap music, like dance music, right? Like this type of beat like sets the style, right?
Right.
So if we were gonna go by that, like our newer things are just trap drums, right? So the drums would be trap, the guitars would be like, I guess, a hybrid of like, it's all like there's a lot of different kind of techniques. So
it's like hybrid rock. I guess that'd be like a good way to describe it, right?
There's like rock, there's like prog in there, there's like, a little bits of like there's like a little bit of like math rock just in the tones, But I mean, like as an instrumental band, we try and fill the void of vocals with the guitars, obviously. So, a lot of the melodies are similar to what vocals would do in certain songs, etc. But I don't know. I never really answer for that. And I kind of just, whenever somebody asks me that, I'm normally with somebody else, and then I let somebody else
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing though. Like when your style of music can't be defined by a title or like a like a thing.
One
that's like a
genre.
good
Yeah,
thing.
super
That means
unique.
you like invented something of your own and like it's like your own thing, you know? Like whenever I hear somebody try and play like that kind of music, I just instantly think of Polyphia. Because it just you guys have like kind of invented that own, you know,
Yeah, I feel like you guys in
thing.
Tron.
Can't even describe it because it doesn't have a word.
Yeah.
You guys in Tron?
No,
The
Tron.
movie Tron? Oh.
Tron. I don't know. It's like you got definitely different styles, but I feel like I don't know. Those are two bands that I'd kind of put in their own like weird genres of just a bunch of different things going on that works super well together. By the way, I wanted to ask. I don't know how much of it you're comfortable talking about, but how's the new album coming along?
It's coming along. Currently at this stage on March 3rd, 2021, we're almost done with the instrumental portion of it. Scott has just a little bit more guitars to do on his end, and then we're pretty much done with the instrumental portion of it. And then on the not instrumental portion of it, we're just waiting on a few features. And that's kind of what's holding it up, really, is the features, because you just never know.
Wait on other people.
Yeah, just pretty much waiting on other people, and it's unfortunate, but you know that like our fans are just waiting this long, but it'll be worth it, I hope.
Oh, for sure.
So,
What's the writing process like? Do you like normally start out with a riff or like a drum beat, or is it all just kind of random and how everything goes? Like,
it really depends. Like, cause I can write to anything. So can Scott. We can start from scratch, which happens. We can then, you know, most of the time, not most of the time, but a fairly common way would be starting with a chord progression and then adding a top line and then creating like the main riff that like is what's the song is going to be based around. And then I'll make a beat. I'll send it to Scott. He'll do like a different beat, and then we'll like kind of Frankenstein the beats together of like the coolest parts that we like. And then try and build a song out of it from there. And they all kind of follow the same structure of like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And then we send it to the Clays. Other times, you know, for example, like with the non-instrumental parts of this record that we're working on with all the rappers and singers and stuff, they'll send like sometimes, you know, when I'm playing music for rappers, I say music and not beats because they're more than just beats. When I'm playing music for rappers, they just don't really know what to do because there's a lot of stuff happening.
It's more than just like drums.
Yeah. So, you know, oftentimes for at least a couple times on this record, we found ourselves in a pickle in that situation where the rapper just kind of doesn't know what to do. And so I'll say, how about this? Do you have any songs just laying around that you don't plan on using? And they're always like, yeah, I've got like 400. So we just sit there and listen to like their songs, and they just let me pick one. And it's really cool because I just get to listen to like all these rappers like unreleased music and shit. And
that's actually pretty sick.
like who? Can you name a rapper who you've got to do that with?
I'm not gonna name names until the record comes out, unfortunately.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But
I was asking like if there was one in the past. I didn't know if you had done any in the past and not just on this upcoming one. Yeah, that's fine.
No, yeah. This is all fairly like new stuff. So like just the anticipation of the record itself.
I got you.
Be a little more secretive than normal. But you know, so like just sit there and listen to unreleased stuff and then pick one like that pretty much I can have and turn it into whatever it is that I want. So, you know, in these scenarios, like I'll pick one and then they'll send me the song and the stems, and pretty much the only thing that I want is the acapella. And because I'm just going to completely fuck the song up, like it's just by the time we're done with it, it's going to be a different song. But the cool
just
thing
like with
is
the same like vocals and stuff.
Yeah, the vocals will be exactly the same, other than like things that we might tweak, just to like match the new song. But it definitely has always, whenever we get a song like that and just like pretty much get to rebuild it from the ground up around the acapella, it always is a fun time for us, and it's always just a cooler thing by the time we're done with it. So that's a way that we do it, and we can do that with any piece of a song. So like any like instrument. So like let's say we were like working with not a vocalist, and like I could just, if somebody just sent me a drum track or something, like I could just build a whole song around just the drum track or anything like that. So there's lots of different ways that we do write, but
at the end of the day, it comes out a fucking song. Like,
Yes, that's the idea, is that it does sound like music when we're done with it.
Is there like is there a process that's easier than other processes? Like starting with guitar or starting with drums?
The easiest things are when it just sounds like the song already. Which, like what I mean by that is, have you guys ever played with like synths before? Like real synths?
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I do a session where there's like synths involved, I don't personally own any. I should say that. I should clarify that. I really want some. But every time like you could just play a chord progression on those synths, like those like real synths, and they just already sound like whatever the fuck song. Like you don't need to tweak it. They just sound good, like the analog synths. They like, there's already like, like automation and shit on, like if you just hold a chord, there's movement. It's not static. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So like, just like one, just a plain note.
Yeah.
There's like more to it.
There's a lot more to it. So you just play a chord progression and like that's the loop, right? And then it just already sounds like the song. So that's kind of what I mean by it's easiest when it already sounds like the song, by like,
makes sense.
If you just like sing a melody and you're like, oh, that's the fucking song right there. It's easy, because I know what's I know what we're going to do now. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I mean by when it already sounds like it. But I mean, other than that, it's music. So I don't know. I don't know if there's necessarily like an easy way to do it, but